Hello, everyone. We're so glad that you're with us today. We have Kim Rock. She's an agent out of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania area and also covers some in New Jersey. She's from Keller Williams. And today we are talking about hacks for productivity for work-life balance. We're talking about showing agents, virtual assistants, client events, and scripts. So she's got so many amazing different things going on. So first, I want to talk about just some scripts. I know you're not big on scripts, but I know that you have. I always like to hear kind of, how people handle, different clients. So let's just start with that. And let's just say you get a new buyer lead come in. Let's just do a quick conversation with us and how you would handle that lead.
Sure. I really like to get down to, their motivation and make it more educational and a little more informal. So I would start out by asking, hey, how'd you hear about us?
Oh, I saw a house online that I was really interested in.
Oh, awesome. Well, we'd love to help you with that. Tell me a little bit about your search. Are you looking in, the general area of where the house was?
Yeah, I'm looking in Philadelphia. I'm a big Eagles fan, and I want to I want to get something in the next 3 months.
Okay, awesome. 3 months is great. You are starting at the right time. We can certainly make that time frame happen. Have you been pre-approved for a mortgage yet?
Yes, already.
Perfect. And what budget did your lender say you're pre-approved up till?
500,000.
Okay, great. Well, there's a great range of homes in the area that, the home that you called about is located in that fit that budget. Tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for in your next house. By the way, where do you live currently?
Philadelphia.
And are you renting or do you own?
I own.
Okay, perfect. And just curious, the home that you own, has that been listed yet? Or are you waiting till you find something to
I'm
buy?
gonna rent it out. I
Oh,
already have a
great. I
renter.
love that. I love that you're, going to build some equity and some wealth in that home and buy your second home. So tell me a little bit more though about what you're looking for in that home. What's important to you? What features should it
I
have?
want an open floor plan, and I definitely want to have a garage.
Perfect. Okay, we'll make a note of garage. So that's a must-have. You wouldn't look at anything that didn't have a garage.
Correct.
Okay, that's great to know. What about the ability to build a garage? Let's say there's limited options that have garages, but maybe there's space to add a garage. Would you be open to something like that?
Yes.
Okay, that'll just give us a few more options. Inventory is a little bit low right now, and it's hard to find things in the city that have garages, but we'll keep that as a, ideal on your list. So normally from this point, I have a team. So I would go into, what I'd love to do is get you scheduled for a buyer consultation with one of our team members. We really like to sit down and educate and not just throw you into the market. So we don't just put you on a search and forget that you exist. We want to schedule a time to get to know a little bit more about you. You get to know a little bit more about us. Possibly meet for coffee, or we could do it online in Zoom. Do you have a preference between meeting in person or online?
I'd rather do it on Zoom.
Okay, well, we are happy to do it via Zoom. What's your schedule look like?
I'm available tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. How does 2 to 3 work?
That's perfect.
Okay, great. When we hang up, I'm going to send an email and I'm going to introduce you to one of my awesome buyer's agents. They'll get you scheduled for that consultation, and we really look forward to working with you.
Awesome. All right, that was great, Kim. Let's do one more for sellers if we can. I just filled out something that said that I'm interested in finding out what my house is worth. Let's do that one real quick.
Okay. So, hi, I got your inquiry about your home on 123 Main Street. You were interested in learning more about the value of that home. Are you wondering the value for refi purposes, or are you thinking of selling that home?
No, I'm thinking about selling, but my biggest question is, we just moved in, 2 years ago, and we're getting, transferred out. And so my very important question is what your commission rate is, because if it's too high, then I don't want to even work with someone who's going to charge me too much.
Oh, I totally understand. And we will absolutely talk about the commission rate. But before we get to that, would you mind if I just ask you a few questions about the home so I can learn a little bit more about you and the home?
Sure.
Okay, great. So you mentioned the home's on 123 Main Street. I'm looking at the listing from when you bought 2 years ago. Would you say it's similar condition to when you bought, or have you done any major updates?
No, we haven't done a thing.
Okay, perfect. And when you move, you said you're going to be relocated. Where are you going?
We're going to Texas.
Awesome. And what's your time frame like for that?
We want to move in the next 3 months.
Okay, great. And you said that's a relocation through your job?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations on the new job.
Thank you.
So I can see the listing from when you bought, and that'll give me a good idea, of current market value. But it's really best that I come out in person so that I can just really get a feel, see the house in person. I'll bring some recent sales with me. We can talk about the comparables. We'll, of course, talk about commission, and what I'm going to do to market your home. And I can even give you some options, to choose from. So would tomorrow between 2 and 3 work for me to come out and see it in person?
Yeah, tomorrow would be great.
Okay, perfect. I'm just going to grab your email address, and when we hang up, I'm going to send you a little bit of information about myself so you have that in advance of our appointment. And then I'll plan to see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I love how you did that. I love how you diverted me. I wanted to kind of be a little bit of a pill to start with. And you handled that beautifully. So let's switch gears for a second. And one of the things I love about you is that you have really developed some hacks for productivity. And I think time management and doing these little life hacks of work-life balance are so important in real estate right now. So give us a couple of really practical tips that you've implemented, that you've come up with.
Yeah, so I kind of have like a top three that have been really life-changing, honestly, for me. And some are more complex and maybe not feasible for, someone as others. So I'll start with the one that not everyone, maybe will be able to do, but really has had the most impact on my life, which is getting a second phone. So, I had everything on the one phone, my, personal calls, business calls, family calls, everything was on that one phone. And it took me being in Disney World in line, for a ride with my children. And I went to, take my phone out, not to do work, but just to take a picture. And so I went to take a picture, and, the text notifications pop up at the top of your screen. And I saw a text that a buyer was terminating a transaction. So in that moment, I don't know about you, but for me, I can't just turn my brain off to that. Once I see, oh my gosh, emergency, there's a problem, my client needs me, I can't just say, well, I'll deal with it, later tonight when I'm done in the theme park, now that I've seen it. So I left, and I dealt with the issue, and I missed time with my family. And I thought to myself, okay, how can I prevent that from ever happening again? And my solution was a second phone, so that I could leave, my business phone in the hotel room. And I'm not just going to leave it in the hotel room without, letting anyone know that I'm not answering my phone, of course, because people want to be answered. They need responses. They need to know when you're going to get back to them. So you have to set those expectations. But leaving my phone in the hotel room in conjunction with the appropriate, out of office messages, emails, things like that. And then being able to be in the theme park for a few hours with a second phone for the sake of emergencies, family calls, and taking pictures. So that second phone has really made my life a lot easier, because I can't just unsee something, but if it's out of sight, then at least it can be a little bit out of mind and can be left in the room for a few hours.
I love that. So talk about I know that you had said that you do a nice job with virtual assistants and showing agents to help you. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I do currently have full-time, in-house admin. But when I was first starting out learning about leverage, I wasn't ready to hire someone, full-time for a salary in the office, but I knew there were bits and pieces I needed to get off my plate. A coach had suggested one time, sit down and make a list of everything you do all day, and then figure out which of those items someone else could do, and what are not your highest dollar producing items. So things like scanning a document and turning it into the office, or, uploading something, all of the online behind the scenes, paperwork type things, could easily be done by someone else. Along those lines, some social media things could be done by someone else. Designing a flyer, creating a just sold postcard, posting a new listing on Facebook, things like that. So I started with a virtual assistant and just took those things that someone didn't have to physically be here for and could do remotely, and took those things off my plate and put them on her plate. And it just, freed up time to focus on the things that are, more dollar producing, like going on a listing appointment or reaching out to past clients, or, making care calls to the database, things like that.
I want to tell you, one of the reasons why I joined and I just love Canzel is that I can get 100% commission, I get revenue share, and I get stock. I am making thousands of dollars every single month in revenue share and stocks. And I now don't have to work nights and weekends on real estate anymore. I've actually never been to a real estate agent's retirement party, and I want to be the first one that people are coming to at a young age. And I want to share with you some of my favorite resources. So if you go to joincanzel.com/free, there's a couple that I want you to download. One is a 20 free lead generating PDF. It's going to help you generate leads for free that you can download, as well as there's one on how to double your business. I don't want you to miss it. Go download it today. joincanzel.com/free.
So one of the things that we use is we have something called Open Phone, and we use it for our virtual assistants. And I'm telling you, if you're on this call right now, to me, if you're a real estate agent, if you can hire a virtual assistant for $4 an hour, even at 40 hours a week, that is $160 a week that you can have full-time help, and we can help you hire someone. We train them in real estate, help them with the scripts. We help doing all that. There's another program called ClickSend that we just started using that we're really happy with, and Easy Text. And we have come to the place, there is almost nothing that your virtual assistant can't do, except things like take your dry cleaning, right? But even things like scanning docs, there's so many online apps now that it has made it where you can get a virtual assistant. So if you are interested in that, email bod@canzel.com. We can help you get your own virtual assistant, already train them. We have so many videos that we have as well, training videos that they can learn from. And then we also do live trainings from them. So do you have any apps that you kind of have used that really help you with productivity, or with the virtual assistants that you really love?
I really like Slack. So we use that for all, team communication, both the admins, the agents. Again, it goes back to kind of getting it off of your phone and getting it out of group text threads and, constant text messages, and having things organized and, systems in place.
We use Slack as well. I love Slack. Great. Tell us about your autoresponder that you have on your phone that you talked about, where, when you were if you have your phone, right, and you were at Disney and you wanted to leave your phone empty, but you wanted to have some kind of response. Talk about how you do the auto responding.
Yeah, so not necessarily every phone. I'm an Android person, so I can't explain how to do it on Apple. But on Android, there is an app that I downloaded called Auto Message. And essentially, so right now, while we're recording this, I have my auto message up and I have my phone off, and it just says something like, between the hours of 11 to 1, I will be unavailable. Now I do have an admin in the office. So in that auto message, I state, if you're looking to buy or sell a house or have, an immediate need for a transaction, please call my admin, and I'll put her phone number. And then I'll just say, I'll be returning all calls after 1 p.m. And the great thing about that is just that, like I said before, people just want to be acknowledged. They want to know when someone's going to get back to them. They might call you at 11. They don't need a response at 11, but they at least want to know that, okay, she's going to call me back between 1 and 3. So I'll wait for her call back, versus if they just text and they don't get any response for 2 hours, they might move on to someone else and you might lose a client.
I love that. And I think
Yeah.
that I've heard there's another one. I haven't tried it yet, but it's called Go Reminders. And that gives automatic text messages for iPhones as well. So if you have an iPhone, or if anyone knows of one, go ahead and type it in the chat. But I agree with you 100%. Like, I'm one of those people, if I send you a text, I want a response right away. Like, that is really important to me. So I need to work with someone that has that. So if I love, like, when I want to take a break, I want to be able to send something that says, hey, I'm busy for the next hour, and have that as an auto. I love that. What a joy.
Exactly. Yeah. And it takes the
So
stress
good.
off of you too, so that during that time that you're not available, you're not wondering, oh my gosh, who's trying to reach me? And, are they, they're not getting a response, and are they moving on, to someone else? So you can actually focus on what you're doing and not be checking your phone, secretly, because it's handled and they're receiving the response.
So let's talk about showing agents. I know before you maybe want to hire a team member, right? Like, you might say, okay, I'm not quite ready for a full-time team member, but I want to have a showing agent. Explain how you pay them and what a showing agent looks like.
Yeah, so we kind of go into it with new clients, explaining that, it's important in this market that you be able to get into a house as soon as it's listed and when you're available. And, I may be only one person. So if I have multiple clients, I might not be able to be in 2 places at once, but I'm always going to get you into that house. And you kind of have to phrase it that way so that they see that it's not just, oh, well, Kim was busy, so she gave us, Mary. But it's more, Kim had a prior commitment and she doesn't want us to lose out on this house. So Mary's going to open the door for us, and then we'll follow up with Kim later, to see what we felt about the house. But we kind of phrase it to clients as, we're never going to have you lose out on an opportunity to see a house because our schedule doesn't allow us to personally meet you at that time. And, a showing agent is a great partner to have, like you said, before you actually start a team, because there's no commitment, they're not an actual team member, but they're a partner in your business. And people do it one of 2 ways. I've had where, you just pay per house. So maybe, $25 a house. They're showing 4 houses, you give them $100 and call it a day. I've also seen other people where they do like a portion of the commission. So maybe if that person is not just showing a random house on a random day, but maybe they're going to do all of the showings, which before I had a team, I would partner with another agent, and I would even introduce the clients at the get-go as, this is my showing partner. She does the showings, I do the contracts and negotiation. We work hand in hand, just to kind of free up that time, because the showing houses, aspect of things can sometimes take up the most time in the experience.
So before the call, we were talking, you gave me a brilliant idea on scheduled mails, emails, and scheduled text that I want you to share with everyone.
Yeah, so I was just saying the other thing too with kind of work-life balance is, you might sit down to the computer after a really long day and it's 9 o'clock at night and you're catching up on emails, but you don't want to send an email at 9 o'clock at night because the second you send that email at 9 o'clock at night, you're letting the client know that you're pretty much reachable 24 hours. And maybe you want to protect your evenings, or at least 9 o'clock at night, from the client thinking you're available. Because I think we've all done where, you answer an email at 9 o'clock at night, and then that client responds and is like, oh, good, you're up. Can we jump on a quick call? And now you're, having a phone call at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. So what I do, because I personally need to clear my inbox at the end of the night, I don't like, waking up the next morning and having it backlogged from the previous day. I'll clear out my inbox late at night when I have time, but I don't want people to know that I was responding at that time. So instead, you can choose, schedule to send it at a later date. So for instance, I had a client last night emailing me 10 o'clock at night about inspection repairs, and I responded with my thoughts, but I scheduled it to go out this morning at 8 a.m. So the client didn't receive it till 8 a.m. It looks like I sent it at 8 a.m. rather than 10 o'clock at night.
So one of the things that I know about you is that you also have kids and you're a mom. So any other tips as a mom? These are great tips you've already given, but any other ones that either being a mom or a dad that are kind of you've done that kind of help save time and help you in your work-life balance?
Yeah, so just kind of a combination of all those things. And then it really comes down to, once you implement those things, sticking to it and not cheating. So someone once said, like, when you're committing time to something, put all of yourself in that something. So whether that's work or family, you need to be fair equally to both of them. So, if you're in a meeting for real estate and you're in there for an hour, then, you're focused and you're paying attention and you're not getting distracted. You should do the same for your family. So if you're sitting down to dinner, be at the dinner table and don't have your phone out, so have that auto text response going while you're at the dinner table, and give that same focus to your family that you would have given in a listing appointment.
I love that. Now, I know that you do an amazing job with client events, and you kind of seem that you are the go-to person for so many things. And you do your client events, and you don't just do it for clients, you do it for the local community so that you can get more clients. Describe some of those events and how it's worked well for you.
Yeah, so we're big on, like you said, both the past client, database type events, and just really like loving on our past clients, because that's your best source of referrals. But then also doing community events. And so a couple of the community events that we have done in the past year, we did a women's headshot event. So just women in business who needed to refresh their headshot, not real estate, but just all women. We had a travel agent come, we had a doctor come, a lawyer. So just anyone in the local community that wants to refresh their headshot, we partner.
Now, let me ask you, because that seems like a great event that you could do, because it seems like not just women. Have you ever done one where it was like a headshot event for guys and girls?
We didn't. So we've done it now for the past 2 years, and we have just focused on women. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could make it a headshot event for anyone. We kind of did it around Valentine's Day and almost made it like a Galentine's, type theme. So our focus was, giving the headshots to the women, but anyone could, take that and just make it a general event. Another thing that we do that now we've been doing for a little over a year, and we've started doing twice a year, is a shredder event with a shred truck. And the senior population loves that. They've been packing up boxes and boxes of paper, and they always come, prepared to shred a lot of items. We do it as a drive-through event where we sponsor the shred truck. It comes in the parking lot. We rent space at the local township building, and we use their parking lot. And because we're doing it in the township parking lot, then also, the township sometimes will repost it or let people know, put a flyer up in the lobby, things like that. And we just have people drive by, open their trunk, we take the boxes out, we shred it. And then of course, while they're there shredding, we give them a little information about us if they want to, sell their house. That's a great event. We get a ton of people. Every time we've done it, we've had a few hundred cars come. So it's really heavily attended. Also last summer we did a community movie night where we partnered with the township and used a big outdoor field in the township and rented a big movie, blow up movie system, speaker system. We had food trucks and just invited everyone to come see a free movie. We did the new Super Mario movie last year.
I love that. I had just recently heard one of our agents had said that they did a cocktail class with like a tasting with a local mixologist, and they hired a bartender for literally $15, and they asked everyone to bring, they did it at their house, and they asked everyone to bring like a bottle of their favorite drink. And so it cost them so little money because everyone brought like a bottle and they had some cocktails, and they said the whole event literally cost them like $30 because they got a bartender to do it for like $20, and they got a few, mixers, and it really didn't cost them anything at all. And they also did another one that was very, very cheap, was just host a trivia night. And they just did like kind of a game night where they had some really fun games. And then everyone just brought like a dish to share. So they weren't paying for a lot of food and stuff like that. And you can sometimes like even rent, like if you don't have a big enough house, you could find like an apartment complex that a friend has that maybe has one of those rooms. What would you say is the cheapest event and I love the business card idea. To me, you can get, right now, photographers are really looking for work. You could get a really great deal for a photographer on that. And that's really cheap. Any other things that, people are trying to save money right now, like that are low cost things that they can do for the client events that are a big bang?
I would say any of these could be if you partner with the right people. If you have a trusted lender partner or a title company partner, get them involved, because then they can take, some of the expense off your plate. So it's not just you paying for it. But anything like that, like we do a Thanksgiving event at the office, so we don't have to rent space because it's at the office. And we make it family friendly, and we do pies. So we buy pies from a local bakery. And then we invite all the past clients. So that's not a community event, but it's a past client event. And it's just to thank all of our past clients. So we send out an email saying, please reserve your pie. Let us know, do you want pumpkin or apple? It's completely free. And then people reserve a pie, and then they come get it at the office. And we have, some fun stuff like maybe a face painter or a balloon artist, if they bring their kids. And it's a quick in and out type thing. They come, they get their pie. We have a couple drinks, snacks, things like that. Talk a little bit. If the kids are there, we have a coloring contest, or they're getting their face painted. And then, just they stay for 20 minutes, hang out, and then leave. And that's kind of just a, quick in and out, just catch up with people, and, they get to take home a pie for their Thanksgiving dinner.
Love it. Well, is there anything that I haven't asked you? We're out of time. We only have a minute left. Anything else that I haven't asked you that you want to share with listeners of kind of some tips that have kind of made you so successful?
No, I think we touched on a bulk of them. It just comes down to, leverage and systems, and properly communicating with people, and setting the proper expectations, and just, being able to try to balance everything by using those tools.
Love it. Well, you guys stay tuned. We've got another episode coming up in just a few. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a rating and a review so we can get this out to more agents. And tune in next week for another power-packed episode. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Podcast.